entrevista y por hacernos parte de la estrategia del lanzamiento de esta nueva película, que es increíble. La vimos aquí justo donde estamos grabando como preparación para la entrevista y fue buenísima.
Sí, de hecho la vamos a ver en el cine otra vez porque sí vale la pena verla en pantalla grande.
Sí.
Y ahora los dejamos con la entrevista.
¿A qué?
Silla negra aquí.
¿La negra? ¿No se puede?
No, aquí puede.
Hello, David. We are Señales Podcast from Mexico. We are so grateful for you to be here with us. We are big fans of your work.
Oh, thank you so much.
David, for a larger movie like this, while writing and directing to build the story, are you thinking about what you want for it to happen or what you don't want for it to happen?
That's a great question, because I think just as much as any storyteller wants to know where they're going to go, we want to know what we're afraid of in that journey. So what we don't want to happen is often what leads us to what does happen. So I think it's that push and pull. We've got the good versus evil mythology of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, and so much of the journey that's going to lead us to Halloween Ends has got to be some of the dread, some of the tension, some of the uncertainty, and some of the frustration of who we're going to lose along the way. So there's a lot of times in this movie where I'll be writing a character I'm in love with and have to say good night.
Great. And we have seen that you grew up with slasher movies back in, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. How has growing up with slasher movies such as Halloween shaped the way you see the characters that you now have the opportunity to develop?
Well, I think it's fun to be able to write in a genre that I have great appreciation for. And I find myself doing two things. One is I lean into cliches and tropes of the genre because we love them, and that's so fun. And is the boogeyman in the closet, and so many things are I appreciate within the genre. And then there's the other part of me that wants to innovate and do something new. And so we're trying to think of, even in like some of the kill sequences, we're trying to find new ways to stab people. And so there would be a discussion in a writer's room like, hey, has anybody seen a movie where somebody got stabbed in the armpit? And then nobody raises their hand. So we're like, okay, someone's going to get stabbed in the armpit. So there's that kind of an energy trying to do something that we feel like is unique, even though I'm sure I'll find out within the next 2 weeks of some 8 other movies where there were some armpit kills. But that's just an example of the kind of the way we're trying to take what you expect and then do something a little different.
Writing characters like Laurie and Karen, who are survivors at heart, is it maybe a little like developing another dark personality in order to survive instead of killing?
Repeat the question?
Yeah, so writing characters like Laurie and Karen, who are the survivors, is it maybe like developing a character who has a dark personality but to survive instead of killing?
Yeah, well, I think it all of these films, any great slasher movie, I guess you're looking at potential victims and their animal response to fear. So is it fight or flight? Or when does your primal animal instinct say, I'm not going to run away from this, I'm going to stand up to this? And so if it's Michael Myers or a tiger, which I think they're kind of the same, right? You're gonna stand and fight something that seems impossible because some of the times you're gonna size that up and say, I can get the hell out of here instead of having to deal with it. So I think it's fun to write those characters, and a character that is a natural survivor like Laurie and a reluctant survivor like Karen. Those are fun characters to show the different philosophies they have when they're tested.
All right, and one last question. How significant is it for you to be able to close up this John Carpenter's legendary story arc with Laurie and Michael Myers, being the must-watch, the must-go slasher movie for over 40 years?
Well, for me, it's very important to bring a conclusion to my story. I've evolved. I've taken the torch from John Carpenter and Deborah Hill and evolved a story that I feel like is an homage to what they created and takes Laurie Strode and these generations and some of the other legacy characters and takes them on a new journey. But I do feel compelled to complete my trilogy And then who knows what happens next? I'm sure the next storyteller, filmmaker, next generation will be off to reinvent the mythology in some other way. But I do feel like I want these 4 films from Carpenter's and then my 3 to stand on their own as a specific edition of this of these characters in this mythology.
Well, thank you for this interview, David. Big hug for Mexico, big fans, all of us here in Mexico. And again, thank you for being here.
Can't wait to watch the movie. Thank you, David.
Great talking to you guys. See ya.
Hey, hello, Jamie, Judy. Thank you so much for giving us this time. We are Señales Podcast. We are from Mexico, and we love you.
Oh,
big fans.
Hola, Papi. How lovely.
Thank you.
Hello.
Very comforting background.
Thank you. That's actually our main logo. But let's go ahead and start with the questions, if you don't mind.
Yes, yes.
How would you describe the experience of playing 2 characters who are faced against this brutal killer that never seems to die and always finds the way to find you? Something almost supernatural.
I mean, first I'll say it's an honor just to be a part of the franchise. It's a little hard for Karen in Halloween Kills. Basically, the very end of Halloween, the 2018 Halloween, she realizes her mom is right, as she needs to now kick Michael Myers' ass and protect her daughter and protect her mother. So that realization happens fast. And then in this, again, she is sort of like swept up in protecting her family, trying to reason with an angry mob, trying to kill a killer, and trying to calm my mother down and care for her. I mean, some time is spent trying to keep her from even knowing that Michael isn't dead. I don't even want her to know that yet. It is an insane 2 hours.
Yeah. I think Michael must have GPS or something. I like he's like implanted some sort of GPS device in me or my entire
Maybe
family.
you did like a Find My Phone.
There you know, the truth is that we don't know why people have written stupid things about it. Movies have been made stupidly about it. We don't know why Michael attached to Laurie Strode in the first place. What I finally figured out after so many years, 43 years of playing the part, Laurie Strode is the epitome, the quintessential, the ubiquitous, smart high school girl in a Midwestern town. She's going to go to college. She answers the question when they're asked. She's a wonderful babysitter. She has dreams of a boyfriend. She sings, "I wish I had you all alone, just the 2 of us." You know, she's a dreamer, and her friends tease her mercilessly. Oh, Laurie, poor Laurie, scared another one away. You know, that is the world she lives in. It's a fantasy, smart life. It is coupled with the epitome of evil. Michael Myers is described by Dr. Loomis as having the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. He is the essence of evil. And John Carpenter and Deborah Hill put him in a white mask, which is enigmatic, has no distinguishing features, so that you can put into the mask all your own fears. And you've heard about who he is, and there he is on the street. Somehow, that collision between good and evil is what has been the seed that has now grown many movies. In my case, now 43 years later, the same thing is happening. We don't know why, we don't know how, but we do know it exists.
Right. Thank you. Michael Myers' mask is so iconic, both in popular culture and the plot itself, throughout all of the movies. What's it like to see the mask for the first time and realizing this is the mask for the slasher movie across the spectrum, especially since both of your characters are kind of responsible for making the mask, the new mask?
Well, our incredible special effects makeup artist, Chris Nelson,
Also an actor.
so protective of the mask.
Yes.
There were only 2.
Yes.
And he would let us play with them ever. So it was like seeing the mask on Jamie James Jude Courtney, who plays the Shape, Michael Myers. The first time you see it, and James is so tall and so scary, and he's so still. And when you see people dressing up like Michael Myers, and you're only a real Michael Myers if you are still, because there is right, there's like this eerie stillness to the Shape, But yes, we were never allowed to play with the masks or touch the masks. And even my friends are like, did you put it on and run around? I'm like, I wanted to, but we were never allowed. Even when I have to hold it out at one point, it was like they'd be cut and Chris would be running to hold it. And it was,
The original mask, as you know, was a William Shatner latex mask made in which was the only human mask, rubber mask that they could find in March of 1978 when they made the original Halloween movie.
What did he say about that, William
I don't
Shatner?
think he was happy about it.
Okay.
But that mask no longer exists in the universe. It disintegrated because it's latex. It just disintegrated.
Yeah.
It was never kept safe in a temperature-controlled room. Probably thrown in a box somewhere. So the Halloween H2O movie, there was so much money put into trying to come up with masks. I took a photograph, I'm a photographer, and I took a photograph of what we called the mask test, where there were 10 masks, and there were all these people holding these masks because it was so silly. It was so silly. Now Chris Nelson has really perfected it, and he is such an artist. And he's really created now what is the classic Halloween mask.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you, for being here with us, for the answers. Great answers. Thank you so much for the
Thank you for having us on your podcast.
We love you, girls.
Aquí,